using a particular tool called Business Model Canvas. So these are some of my own startup adventures or the business adventures. Started my entrepreneurial life with Strategica, a training and consulting business. Then I have also started the Key Factor Solutions, which is an e-learning solution company. Then High Riders was a social business where I was offering bicycle maintenance services using physically challenged mechanics. And Corporate Khadi was a small experiment where I was trying to push Khadi as a corporate wear. Right now, I am pursuing my full-time PhD while offering these coaching services through Coach for Change. So the agenda is to develop a business model using Business Model Canvas. What is essentially a business model is how an organization or a business makes money, and explore possible innovations in the business model. We will do that simultaneously. And the best value you can gain out of this exercise or this, I would like to run it more like a semi-workshop model. I would encourage all of you to pick some business idea for discussion's sake. Any business idea is okay. And work on that idea using this business model canvas as we discuss each section, each of the 9 sections of the business model canvas, which will give better appreciation and understanding of this tool, this framework. And feel free to ask any questions towards the end. This is typically the business model canvas. You may not be able to read everything here. Do not worry about it. This is freely downloadable from strategizer.com. The website is mentioned at the right-hand side bottom corner. So, and it will also, this website will give you a lot of insights into how to understand and fill each of these boxes. It gives an extensive explanation of these components of business model. This has been the result of a consolidation of multiple researches which happened, and finally Mr. Osterwalder has created this current form. And I will just explain the various components of this. It starts with the value proposition, which is in the center. What is a value proposition? The customer value proposition is the value that is realized by the customer, either by addressing his pain or enhancing a gain. Then comes, on the right side, we have got customer related stuff or the market related things. And on the left side, it is about operational related things. On the right side, we have customer segments, who are our target customers, customer relationships, how we are going to maintain the customer relationships, and what are the delivery channels in terms of marketing channels, sales channels, and also distribution channels. And on the right side, we have the operational side, which is key activities. What are the various things that we must do to deliver this value proposition, and what are the key resources that are required, and who are the key partners who will help us in delivering this value proposition. And based on all these elements, we will have cost structure. And even before that, let me tell you the revenue streams. Any business must have at least 3 to 5 different revenue streams. And it will not involve typical CapEx, but definitely some amount of operational expenses would be involved, but that would enhance the ROI from the investment. And based on each and every of these 8 boxes, which will contribute to the cost. And once we figure out all these things, then comes finally the cost structure. How much do we need to spend, both in terms of the capital expenditure and as well as OPEX, for running this business? And based on that, how much revenue we are going to generate, and then how much profit we will make. This, in a nutshell, gives us a complete picture of how a particular business is created and run. There's nothing beyond this. more or less. So if we are able to understand any business from a business model canvas perspective, we have essentially captured all the critical success factors of the business. That is why this tool becomes very effective and powerful. Moving on to the individual elements of this business model canvas. First one is value proposition canvas. This is another tool where the understanding is that the customer realizes value in terms of pains, reduced pains. Mr. Dharmalingam, request you to be on mute. Hello, Mr. Dharmalingam.
Hello, sir.
Host can mute.
Yes, yes, I'm doing it.
Thank you. So the customer, so this is what it is. So any customer has some jobs to do. He wants to get something done. And in that process, you have, the customer will face some pains, and definitely there are better ways of doing those jobs. Unless we figure them first, what are the pains and gains, we cannot create a value proposition, because any product or a service essentially is a package of some pain relievers and gain creators. The best example which all of us are familiar is WhatsApp. We were not able to share media or photos so easily using the previous SMS services. Only text message was possible. But WhatsApp completely changed the picture. Now the SMS is used only for getting the OTP. Nobody uses SMS anymore, more or less. Most of the conversations, groups, everything happens media sharing on WhatsApp. So that is the value proposition. How a pain of not being able to do certain thing has been addressed, and a gain of getting into groups, creating groups, and improving social interaction has also improved using the same text messaging service, using internet. That is the value proposition. So if you have already picked up a business, figure out what is that value proposition for that business. Let us say somebody is saying he is going to get into savories business. He wants to create some snacks. But then, who are the different target customers for these snacks? Why should a customer buy from you or from this particular business? What is the specialty item that you are generating? Or even if it is a routine item, what is that driver for the customer to buy from you? Is it proximity? Is it door delivery? What is that? So that is where the pains and gains must be understood. The next item is the customer segments. Everyone does not have the same need. This is one fundamental understanding we must have. Most of the times, everybody, some of the startups who come to me say, we are covering everybody's need. For example, one startup from NIT Trichy came to me. They said, sir, we are addressing the end-to-end requirement of education industry. I said, first of all, do you understand how many segments are there in education industry? Even if you just look at the age-wise or a level-wise categorization, you have nursery and the primary and high school. Then you have got undergraduation, post-graduation, and doctoral studies there itself. 6 different levels. And in the high school also, if you can split up to 10th as high school and 11th and 12th as a separate segment, which focuses on the competitive examinations, etc. So that becomes 7 segments. And if you get into this simple graduation segment, each type of graduation, whether it is a BSc, BCom, based on the focus of study, becomes a separate segment. While each of them can be categorized as a student, each one of them have distinct needs, distinct challenges, and distinct ways of improving their experience. So that is why figuring out clear customer segment is essential. One of the things that you can do is by describing your customer, creating a customer persona. Who is a typical customer? Where does he live? Is it a male or a female, or what is the age group, etc., etc. Looking at the same example which we discussed, which is the savories, snacks business. What are the different customer segments for a snacks business? It could be family. It could be individuals, bachelors. It could be people who are staying in hostels. It could be working professionals. Or it could be even bars, where the preference is there for the namkeen. Each one is a different segment. Their expectations are different. You can even create a separate segment called kids. Correct? Where? So based on the target segment, the product features should be designed, and the product availability will be influenced by that. How you sell it to them, how you reach them, everything changes. So that is why this is one of the very critical success factors to identify clearly the customer segments. Moving on. The next thing is customer relations. Fine, we have identified a customer segments. How do we maintain customer relationship with them? Your question immediately will come, why should I maintain customer relationship? The factor which influences the need is something called customer lifetime value. How many times an individual customer is going to come back to us and buy from us? Suppose if I am selling savories, same business which we discussed, and a customer typically buys about 200 rupees worth of savories, a mixture, let us say, from me every week. That's his consumption pattern. So essentially, how much value he is going to give me? 200 into 4, 800 bucks per month. And 800 per month is close to 9 to 10,000 rupees per year. That is the customer lifetime value, not even lifetime value. This is per year. And now this customer will continue with me, let us say, for the next 20 years. That becomes 20 into this 10,000, 2 lakhs. That is customer lifetime value. So if we are able to acquire a customer and maintain the relationship over the next 20 years of lifetime, we will be able to get 20 or 2 lakhs rupees from this guy. And now you multiply with the number of customers, growing the customer. That is how we can extrapolate the number of the sales projections, number one. Number two, this also will influence our decision to spend on marketing, something called cost of customer acquisition. How much would you like to spend to acquire one customer? If I spend, let us say, 10,000 rupees on a campaign, email marketing campaign, and if I'm getting one customer, that means essentially my cost of customer acquisition is 10,000 per customer. And that will be defined by the customer lifetime value also. But there is no point in spending more than what we are going to profitably get back from the customer. And these relationships, how do you want to maintain? Do you want to create a WhatsApp group for them? Or is it through Facebook? Or are you going to use LinkedIn? Or you want to be in touch with them through, let us say, TV ads or paper ads? How are we going to decide this? Again, decide based on the customer profile. If we are targeting professionals, you may want to go to LinkedIn. If you're talking about typical housewives or people who are from the families, you may want to look at a Facebook or a WhatsApp group. If you're targeting children, you may want to market your products through schools. So that is how the decision of segment will influence the selection of channel. And we need to have a clear CRM strategy. Unless until we are saying we are a touring talkies. I'm not going to come back to this place again for the next 1 year. So there is no point in maintaining a CRM. But that such situations or such businesses are very, very less. So that is the relevance of maintaining customer relationships along with the factors of how much you want to spend on this and what are the various media or channels of maintaining these relationships. Then comes customer channels. This is not communication channel. Here we are now talking about how will you deliver the value proposition to the target customer? Who are the various partners in the marketing of this, in the sales and in the distribution? So if I am going to package my savories and sell them through, let us say, Amazon becomes my distribution partner. I can also leverage Amazon website as my marketing channel, advertising there. But if I say, no, I am going to give it to all the sweet shops, then they will become my channel. I can also say I am going to distribute through various kirana shops. They become my channel. So depending on my strategy, depending on which channel I want to use to reach my target customer, this will change. That channel, that becomes again an important decision based on the target customers. Next item is the operations side, key activities. What are the key activities I will have to do for building and delivering this value proposition? I am doing the savories business as per the example. So if I have to create this savories business, what I have to do? First of all, I have to get the raw material, various pulses or the flours, condiments, etc. I should have a proper kitchen, which is healthy. And they should be cooking and then packaging, preparation and packaging. And then, of course, distribution, the logistics part of it. So these will become my key activities. And ensure that every key benefit is being focused on. How do I decide this? Based on my value proposition. If my value proposition says, let us say, diabetic snacks, then my key activity should also be diabetic friendly. I should only get such items, probably millet-based snacks or things like that, which are more helpful for people to control their sugar levels. I should also be changing my channel. I will sell these snacks through typical diabetic clinics rather than not only general stores, but even through diabetic clinics where the positioning happens much better. So these are the key activities. What should I do? And if I have to get it even certified by, let us say, one medical agency, I will even go for that. So that is how key activities are to be figured out. Then comes key resources. To conduct these key activities, what are the various resources I'll require? I'll require probably a production facility, a kitchen, various raw materials. All these become my key resources. And depending on these key resources, again, the costing will change. What kind of element? If I say I'm going to use only organic pulses, cost will go up. If I say I'm going to use only normal flour, then the cost is less. So there could be multiple additions and deletions based on your target customers, which can change the cost structure. So figuring out the key resources very clearly and in detail becomes a critical success factor. It will bring us more closer to the customer need and also bring us better clarity in terms of our costing. All right, moving on to the key partners. We have figured out the key resources. We have figured out the key activities. Then the key partners are the people who are going to help us and support us in executing those key activities and acquiring these key resources. Correct? This is where a possible business innovation happened. Is possible. Business model innovation is possible in any of the boxes. But the challenge with the things which are very visible today are very popular. Uber changed their business model by redefining their key partners. Previously, for taxis, the key partner was typically there was no key partner except a marketing guy or a travel agent. But Uber completely eliminated that fellow. They said directly to the customer, and key partners are no longer companies of taxis, but individual drivers. And previously, the taxi company had to own the taxis. No, these guys don't own the taxis. So this relationship with the partners, once redefined, changed the complete business model with a great innovation. Same thing happened through Airbnb. Same thing happened through Oyo and Ola. This is how, by reimagining key partners, we can completely transform a particular business. Essentially, who are the key partners who can help us deliver the value proposition? That is what we are talking here. And again, all the key benefits we are promising the customer must be taken care of. So key partners are done. Then even before going to cost structure, we should be talking about revenue streams, because revenue streams also has an influence on cost structure. So what is a revenue stream? What are the various revenue streams that can be generated while delivering the value proposition? The caveat here is that no additional capex. That means from the same kitchen or the same setup which I am using savories, can I also deliver sweets? Can I also deliver meals? Can I also deliver something else? How many different types of categories of snacks I can give? Can I also deliver a breakfast? So we are transforming this simple savories business into more like a cloud kitchen, or giving a much wider spread of the food items, which are anyway required for the typical target customers. Because people will have to eat food at different times of the day. But are we willing to get into that, and are we willing to support and promote that? That's the challenge. However, based on the decision to generate a separate revenue stream, a separate set of key activities and key resources will be required. And that is where, again, the cost impact will be there. So that is why revenue streams must be decided. Based on that, again, cost will be there. Even if you look at a typical restaurant or a tiffin center, that fellow is serving right from the morning. Morning 6 o'clock, he will start with the tea coffee. He moves on to breakfast till around 9:30, 10. Then he will have some snack items. Around 11, 11:30, he will start into lunch. 3:34, again, some fried snack items and a tea coffee. Again, from 7 o'clock onwards, again, he goes into dinner. All using the same kitchen, same setup, same infrastructure. Each item which he sells will have a different level of sales, different cost of preparation, and different profit margin. That is the key. So he will have to figure out and balance how many idlis he will make, how many vadas he will make, and how much biryani he will make based on his consumption pattern. But he is going to provide everything. So that is how we have to figure out revenue streams. Classic example is Murugan Idli Shop in Chennai. It's a chain of shops. It calls itself an idli shop, but he will provide dosa also, upma also, pongal also, all the things. But from the same outlet, same staff, same kitchen. That is how revenue streams are, again, another very important aspect. If somebody comes to you and says that, yes, sir, I have only one product, don't leave him there. Encourage him to look at his customers and see what are the other typical products which can help enhance his revenue potential. This is one mistake, because typically startups leave the money on the table. by not targeting that. Somebody else will start filling that need. So that is the revenue streams. And once you figure out revenue streams, then we come to cost structure. Now we have all the elements required to figure out cost. Starting from targeting customer segments. Based on the customer segments, the customer relationship cost will come. The channel partner cost will come, whether it is sales partner, marketing, or delivery partner, because they will have their own percentage, which has to come from the same revenue. Source of revenue is same customer. Then you come to the key activities to be performed. People cost will come. Key resources will come. And similarly, key partners will come and their costs associated, the percentages or costs that will come. And revenue stream, based on the revenue stream, varied operational expenses will kick in. Based on all these elements, we have to create the cost structure. This is where typically some of the challenges will come into picture, and cost structure will also involve your. We can include the cost of capital in terms of if there is a bank loan, you can also put in the EMI there and other things like that. So that is how these 9 elements, starting with the value proposition, customer segments, customer relationships, the channels of distribution, key activities, key resources, key partners, and the revenue streams, the cost structure. The 9 elements will capture all the necessary requirements or critical success factors of any business. If any business is failing, it will be because of one of these issues. Most of the typical businesses fail because of the lack of clarity in terms of the customers themselves. Okay, if somebody says the whole world is my customer, then he is not thinking right. This is what I would wanted to share with you. And now we are open for Q&A. You can speak or you can, go ahead, Mr. Gharpure.
Sridhar, I got only one point here.
Sir.
You have made very impressive and useful presentation.
Sir.
When we are talking about various activities, vendor development also needs equal attention as we do for customer, relationship management.
You're right.
That too has become more important this in new economic world order, particularly the supply chain disruptions.
Correct.
So we should treat vendor as a one pocket which needs the same attention as customers.
You are absolutely right, sir. That's why key partners is a separate box. We are no longer calling them vendors because of the long-term relationship and the important role they play in delivering the value proposition.
Yes.
We are considering them, treating them as partners. So it's only the word change, but what you are saying is absolutely right. That is a very focused segment, which we have to do.
And the second point is, in again today's context, skilling has become very important. Skilling.
Correct.
So unless we have a separate pocket for skilling and training, we will not be able to take care of the manpower resources.
Correct.
And again, in today's context, skilling is getting more important now.
You are right.
So this is the second point which I thought. And third point is the finance part. Financial management is the key, in fact, if you ask me, is managing all these things.
Correct.
How much loan is required, what is the source of funding, whether it's equity or whether it is a debt, or every stream of this funding will have its own cost structure. So that also needs to be built in as one of the business canvas area, and that the one is the financial, second is the vendor, and third is the manpower development.
You are right, sir. Actually, the interesting aspect is the business canvas comes into picture before the business plan. This provides all the inputs necessary for the business plan. And in the business plan, the elements which you are suggesting, whether it is manpower, whether it's a training, funding, all those things will come into picture. Correct? However, even if you ask me how much money you require, where am I going to get that input from? From the canvas. In the plan. The plan will detail out the canvas, and that's where you can put various elements and the various costs in much more detail. And that is exactly where we are in sync. We are actually looking at two different artifacts. The real details, the granular details will come to us in the plan. A typical DPR, as we call it, detailed project plan. Correct. DRP, detail. Okay. Now, the input to that is the business model canvas. Correct. For example, you said manpower planning and training.
Yes.
Correct. Now, when I say key activities, suppose if my key activities does not require any specialist capacity or capability of a manpower, then I don't need that element. But if they require specialist manpower, then definitely I have to have a manpower strategy. That is what I'm talking about. For example, if you say, if I'm running a typical delivery partner to Amazon, I need only people who are able to spare time and who have a two-wheeler. That's all is a clear requirement of my delivery. There is no other specialist requirement. They should have a license, which is a very generic. So I don't need a special focus on this. But if I'm talking about an IT company, I definitely need to have a focused strategy for manpower. So that is where, based on the key activities that the business needs to run, the additional elements of manpower, training, procurement, all these elements will kick in. So we are in sync there, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions, please?
Sir, good evening. This is Dr. Premanand.